Forget your bucket and washing up liquid. This is the 21st century, and if you really want to keep your bike cleaner for longer, then GTechniq's got a far more scientific approach. But how is it different to everything else on the market, and what's this guy in a white coat got to do with it? To find out and watch some of the pretty serious lab testing that goes on here, we're in Northamptonshire at the GTechniq HQ no less. We've been given access to the GTechniq labs and scientists to lift the lid on the science behind the products, finding out just what their bike ceramic is, how it works, and whether it's going to be the next big thing in bike maintenance. Specialising in surface science, GTechniq wanted to bring high-end technology into the cycling world, but this new range of bike products is far from just a rebadged version of their famed car range. Whether it's the dimples on a golf ball or the kind of polish on a Formula 1 car, there is a huge amount of science that goes into the surface of sports equipment. So it shouldn't be particularly surprising to find out that Dr. Drew Gill, the founder of detailing brand GTechniq, has a doctorate in quantum physics. The background of GTechniq isn't just academic though, and what started out as a car maintenance brand over 20 years ago now has an impressive range of vehicle, marine, and the ones which are most interesting to us, cycling care products. Now I'm here with Rob Earle, Managing Director of GTechniq, to give us a further insight into the beginnings of the company. So Rob, can you just run us through the how and the why GTechniq started?
Drew, through his understanding of quantum physics and quantum mechanics, was able to understand how to make a surface really work correctly. And that's the why of it, was to produce something that actually delivered the performance that marketing claims.
We're all used to big marketing claims. Yes. Even in the bike industry, we have plenty of those.
Yeah.
So you're promising that this isn't just marketing?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think in terms of, if you look at in the car care market, the term ceramic is now every day. And we were pretty much, I think when we started, there were two other companies. We're pretty much one of the very first few companies to start on ceramic technology. It took a number of years for people to kind of realize that, it really does kind of perform and have the durability that it claimed. And then it's really it's moved on there. And so now a lot of the big brands in the automotive industry, the Maguires, Autoglim, so forth, they've kind of woken up to it, and ceramic is now becoming, quite rightly, it's the technology that really kind of delivers.
And so obviously GTechniq has seen huge success in the automotive industry. So why did it think that bikes was the next step?
Well, it came out of F1. So one of the people that we work with at not the team that you mentioned, it's a team we can't mention, but he was one of the head of composite engineering at one of the teams. Also did a lot of, he was a very, very keen cyclist. He did a lot of work for some of the big US brands. And it kind of came about from that. So kind of seeing you're not having rubber sticking to bike frames, but that was really the start of it, was looking at how to make those surfaces perform better over a long period of time. So that's kind of where it started. And then the more we looked at it, we kind of looked at also the maintenance lines that were out there, the degreasers, the washers, and also all things like that. And we weren't massively impressed. So a bit big-headed there, but in terms of, we just wanted to deliver something that was really got that level of performance.
And can you tell us a bit about what the benefits are of GTechniq to cyclists like me?
I mean, I think where we've got the bike ceramic, what we were focusing on there was dirt repellency as being the main thing. Scratch resistance on a car is, you're kind of protecting the surface when you wash it, so that if it's got any brake dust in the wash mitt, is to make that very, very thin, very hard layer so it doesn't scratch so easily. But we looked at bike, and it's like, really, if you drop your bike, a micron of coating is not really going to do much. So the focus on the bike side was to get the dirt repellency, dust repellency as high as possible, so that you can spend more time riding, less time cleaning.
And how is GTechniq different to all the other bike maintenance brands out there?
Yeah, so we have in-house capabilities. So we do a lot of in-house formulating. We do a lot of, obviously, the weathering testing, and then we're also the quality control. So everything that comes out, we know it's to the standard, and we are ISO 5001 certified, and that gives customers peace of mind that when they buy the product, it'll do what it's supposed to do.
Well, that does sound good. I guess we'd better go and see Lee down in the labs to find out where the magic happens.
The 20 years of experience from paint protection in the car world crosses over massively into the bike world.
Yeah.
The paint technology on a bike and a car is almost identical. It's a 2-pack cross-link polyurethane clear coat on top.
Yeah.
So how our products react with that, how they bond to it, is very similar. So we can take all of that. But what we did, we tailored the technology we have specifically for something that is going to be very good at repelling mud and dirt, so the sort of contaminants you can get when you're riding your bike.
Yeah.
A lot of the car ones are very much about scratch and mar resistance when you're washing it, which is less important on a bike, whereas getting it clean, so it's keeping it clean, and then the cleaning process should be much quicker and easier on a coated bike. Yes, because that's the thing, you want to be on your bike riding, not spending your whole weekend just cleaning your bike. And also we want something that's really easy to apply. Going back to the automotive, you can get accredited ones where you have to be trained and professional only. That makes no sense for a bike. We wanted a real DIY product, that someone can just clean their bike, apply it. It should be a nice, simple process. It should be fun to do. 5 to 10% of the time is mixing things together. The other 90% of the time is testing it. With one of our more recent products, we tested over 57,000 times in a 3-year process of continuous testing. And there was about 750 sort of real world assessments. So that'd be a case of putting it on a bike, sending someone down a hill, getting it muddy, seeing how well it performs. So it's this repeat process of testing, pushing everything to extremes. So if there's going to be an issue with it, we find it in here, and then you risk assess how big is that problem. Is it going to reduce the customer experience? If so, it has to be solved. So here we've got a scrub tester, which is a very standard bit of equipment for paints and lacquers, etc. And it does just that. This arm here goes backwards and forwards. We've got sponges and a standardized wash solution. So this just replicates a contact wash, which again, because you're putting abrasion in there, you are breaking down any paint or any coating that's on the surface.
Yeah.
So we need to see how durable our coatings are in the context that they are going to be washed regularly. We can test different strengths of chemicals in this as well. So some wash chemicals will be quite aggressive, and again will damage the coating and reduce performance. So this is one of the things we do to gauge its durability. On this, we could run it to maybe 50,000 and see very little degradation. One of the other bits of equipment we use is this is an accelerated weathering chamber. Inside here we have a series of UV bulbs. So essentially this is the sun in a small chamber in the corner of my lab. So what we can get back from this, we can get years of outside weathering back within a few weeks or a couple of months. So by following standard methods, we can compare something that we know we've been using for years that won't break down and then gauge it against that. Here we have a tensiometer, which measures surface tension. What this does, it will drop out a small droplet of water onto a surface, and then we can measure the contact angle. Essentially, it's how far a bead of water will spread on a surface. By testing this, we can measure the surface energy of our coatings. And we want to get that as low as possible. So the most obvious example of a very low surface free energy is a non-stick frying pan. So a Teflon frying pan, which is about 15. Our coatings can get down to about between 16 and 18, but they are much, much, much harder and much more resistant. You know yourself, if you use a metal fork or something on your frying pan, you'll ruin it, which would be no good for a ceramic coating. But so we're trying to create this non-stick surface, this low surface energy, with the hardness and scratch resistance and durability. So if I take this plate here, which is just standard paint, so this is the same grade of paint that you would get on your bike as it comes out of the factory as you buy it new. Click here. So that is the top of a 6 microliter bead of water. As you can see, it's formed there. So what I do is I just gently tease it up till the surface takes it and roll it back down again. So as you can see on there, it's almost a rugby ball shape. It's very flattened out, so that is showing that it's wanting to spread out onto the surface. So if I take same panel that's been treated with bike ceramic, and do the same thing.
Oh wow.
You can now see, yeah, it's almost like this figure 8, because the surface doesn't have the same amount of energy. So the energy around this bead at the surface, the tension of the water, is pulling it into a ball and pulling it away from the surface. So what does this mean? This means that any dirt, oil, mud that hits the surface is going to want to shy away from it and then roll off as we've seen in the plates before. So it's going to keep your surface cleaner. So what we do is we'll repeat this testing over and over again, throwing more road grime, scrubbing it, doing everything we can to try and basically wear down the coating, break it down to see what's going to make it fail, and push as hard as can. We keep taking these measurements. We also will measure the gloss measurements, see if there's any physical damage going in during the process, and make visual assessments of how much dirt is building up on the surface. We just will keep repeating that until we're happy that the coating's performing at the level that we want it to.
Well, did you know that this much work went into making bike care products? Let us know in the comments section below. You can check out the full GTechniq range using the link in the description, and if you found this video interesting, then please give us a like and subscribe. We'll see you next time, probably on some very clean bikes.